Alright, what's up everybody? Guys, we have officially arrived at the final episode for Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. This is episode 64, which is called A Journey's End. And oh god, a journey really has come to an end, hasn't it? I've been watching this show for the past year now, basically, and I've absolutely fallen in love with it over time, right? Honestly, it really managed to draw me in from the start. It was a shame that I started off, of course, watching it at a, slower pace than I usually do with other shows. It's both a blessing and kind of a, something negative, I guess, is that being able to take so much more time, it feels like a much grander journey than maybe in reality it's been, because this being 64 episodes, I remember when I finished Attack on Titan, that felt like a massive journey coming to an end, but it actually happened more quickly than it did with this show for me. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, in reality, of course, this show has less episodes in total. But anyway, it's like a chapter has come to an end, essentially, right? A book has closed. And yeah, I'm on one hand, of course, super eager to see exactly how we're going to see the story come to its end. I mean, I can only imagine that this final episode is just kind of going to be a real happy ending, and we're going to see where most of the characters sort of end up and what it's going to mean for the future of Amestris. And, a couple characters who I talked about in the most recent episode already, who I'm very fascinated to see what that outcome is exactly going to look like, is going to be especially characters like Roy Mustang and Riza, right? And this, like the military, I guess, in general, reflecting upon, the acts that they committed. And the interesting thing is that a lot of people in the military are still actually very much not in the know about what transpired and about what crazy mess the country has been in this entire time. They never found out about the homunculi. They never found out about the father and about, the corruption that I guess was going on, right? That's a very fascinating detail, I will say, and I didn't think the show was going to end that way necessarily. It's probably for the better, because it's gonna mean that Amestris is not going to find itself in complete chaos for a long time, right? Like, civilians will be able to carry on with their usual lives without having to reflect too much on what exactly happened. But again, that same thing will not necessarily count for all the other characters, the main characters, I guess you could say, who are going to be left with their own sort of internal struggles, perhaps, right? I mean, I don't know. Like, this scenario will also mean that Roy Mustang and Riza won't necessarily have to atone to the public that much, right? For example, the stuff that, the fights that, or the atrocities that were committed in something like Ishval. But simultaneously, the Ishvalans, though, might want that retribution sort of nonetheless, or that justice, right? Like, Scar, despite the fact that he has been helping the Amestrians, he himself said it very clearly, like, I still feel this internal, like there's something going against me nonetheless. You get what I'm saying? Like, I still feel like there is a hole there, right? And I don't think that's really going to disappear. Now, the question to ask yourself is it going to disappear seeing, maybe, like, again, some of these main characters atone in a certain way? I don't really know. That's the problem. It's just a fucking trauma, and it's super hard to see trauma like that actually still disappear in any way, I guess, right? Like, the problem is that what happened, and there is no way to really undo it. Yeah, man, I also really liked sort of the dialogue that, the dwarf in the flask, let's say, right? That father still had with Truth. I really liked sort of I guess sort of the reason that Truth revealed to Father is like why he couldn't succeed, is that Father should have never, how should I put this? In a way, he was given a chance in the same way that regular humans are. Like, he was given a chance to live and to grow and to learn sort of the usual way, right? And that because he wanted to become something greater, because he aspired to basically become God itself, or at least absorb him and become the perfect being, that was sort of the reason why he was destined to fail. I guess that's sort of how I interpreted it, right? And again, it's a fascinating conversation. Also because he sort of mentioned, like, I mean, I don't know, maybe I read it wrong, but I feel like what he kind of was saying was like humans are meant to suffer, and that's something that we hear sort of all the time, right? And it's these conversations in general, I find them always hard to truly rationalize or to even put into words, if that makes sense. But I find the concepts intriguing to take in and to think about. And of course, you know, these are very deep, profound philosophical discussions about humanity in itself that the show is raising. And it did from the start already with the whole science versus religion debate that it sort of kickstarted back in episode 4 with Nina and Alexander. And that's another situation that the show brought up in the most recent episodes. You know, just referencing back to that start, you know, like so many episodes ago. Again, it only makes you aware more and more what a journey it has been in the end, right? I just absolutely love, you know, all of that. We, of course, said goodbye to Greed. Ling is going to get his body back. Will Ling still use that little, I mean, is he going to be able to use that little piece of Philosopher's Stone or whatever to become the Emperor, which is, of course, what he had always aspired. Then again, Mei wanted to take it back to our own, you know, home country too. Then again, I feel like, do we still even want, you know, like, do we still want these Philosopher's Stones to be out there? You get what I'm saying? I mean, technically, I guess, alchemy has not been entirely gotten rid of either. Alchemy is still going to exist in the world, hopefully be used for good rather than for evil now, moving forward though. But yeah, again, it's almost like I ask myself the question, isn't it better to just get rid of alchemy altogether? You get what I'm saying? Because that's the choice that Edward made in the end. Edward gave up his own alchemy, and that's actually something that I deeply respect about him now. You know, probably to in turn live a more normal life, you could say, right? Abandoning the military, I can only think, because his quest has basically, you know, come to an end. I can't wait to see what that looks like, you know, that part. Are we going to see him, you know, get together with Winry or something in this final episode? We have of course, seen Hohenheim accept his death, basically, right? And there also, it's like, oh man, just that moment of Pinnacle finding him there at the grave, and you can kind of just, instead of sadness, you can see sort of like relief, right? Like, you've actually done it. You know, you've accepted that fate. You've gone to a different realm, whatever. Again, the show is not necessarily answering these questions either, right? Of like, okay, what is God then actually, right? And what is humanity about? What is the meaning of life? This and that. It kind of does, but it also leaves it sort of open-ended, which is how it should be, because we all ask ourselves these questions all the time, and the simple reality is that we'll never know the answer to it, you know, unless at some point we die and we're finally gonna find out, right? It gets really deep and it gets really, yeah, again, philosophical and stuff, but I think the whole point of you know, of sort of philosophical discussions, at least many of them, is that, you know, you can theorize as much as you want, but the real answer you're never going to find. And I like that aspect of it a lot. Anyway, guys, what a journey it's been. I'm already out of breath right now going through this whole speech for 8 minutes here, and we still have yet to watch the episode, so we're just going to get into that as soon as we can. I hope that you, for now, have enjoyed all my reactions to this entire journey of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Of course, if you did, and you, for some reason, have not yet subscribed to the channel, I would very much appreciate that, as I will, of course, be reacting to a bunch more shows in the future. Probably after you know, FMAB, I'm going to start some other classic anime show that people will want me to watch. I know there's like Hunter x Hunter, and there's a bunch of other ones that like people keep, you know, sort of asking, kind of in the same, you know, usually when I bring up like what anime do you want me to watch, it's going to be these like old school anime that have been around for a while, that usually last quite a number of episodes and that have this real classic status. I've already covered a bunch of them, to be fair, but there's still a couple of ones that I know for sure that I'll have to address at some point, right? And so I'm looking forward to seeing what the next journey is going to be already. But anyway, guys, again, if you enjoyed my reactions to this show, then I would highly appreciate you subscribing to the channel and staying tuned for, you know, whatever comes next. But for now, guys, let's dive one last time into this final episode of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Yeah, who is actually coming to visit him? Right. Yeah. God, I'm gonna say it again, final episode, but sometimes you forget how many characters we've dealt with over time. Crops? He wants to do right by the Israelites? Yeah, what kind of crops are we talking about? Like actual... Yeah, okay. resources.
一応調べていたんだよ。以前からね。
大総統になる前に
Exactly.
イシュバールの問題を解決するんですって。
解決って。いや、
Give them back what they deserve, man.
その声はノックス先生か。
よ
You can still recognize the voices, at least.
ああ、こいつらがうるさくてな。休ませてくれん。
We're gonna get a blind Pura.
ああ、未来を夢見た者に真理が与えた罰だそうだ。
大丈夫なのか。
That's one way to look at it.
まずイシュバール閉鎖地区を開放する。そして
Open the closed off
イ
areas.
シュバール人をその聖地に返す。
Yeah.
やることはまだまだある。
今回の事件、スカーやイシュバールの人たちのおかげで乗り切れたんです。その恩返しをしなくちゃいけませんしね。
Exactly. You can never obviously
頼まれていた資料持ってきましたよ。
bring back what you destroyed, but
できることから始めたいんです。
yeah.
たくといつもこいつも。おい、
That's a good first step.
こっちから言うてま省けたようだぜ。
Marco.
マルコ、ドクターマル
Hey,
コか。
there is only one.
マスタング大佐、ここに賢者の石があります。
Okay.
これで視力を取り戻せるのではないですか？
Is it? I don't think he's gonna.
そうだな。
Oh, maybe. I mean, dude, I get this wrong every single time. Like, I ask myself if people even want
か
it
つて
to
私
be
がイシ
used.
ュバール人の命を使って作ったものです。私が言うの
Wow.
はおこがましいとは思う。私はこの石であなたを治したい。イシュバール
Okay.
のために。
Okay, yeah, I see.
彼らは怒るかもしれないな。あと鋼のも。
I mean, Edward still has at least his leg missing, right?
だが使わせてもらおう。
He could have used it for that, I guess.
私は全力を尽くす。ただ、その前に私より先にその石が必要な者がいる。私はその者の後だ。
Who are we talking about?
はい、愛されて80年。
Wow.
オフレだ。どうした？
Were we talking about Havoc? I guess so, right?
何？今すぐセントラルに？いや、来ればわかるって、お前な。
They're gonna give him his life back? His physical abilities?
傷の具合はどうだ、スカ。マスタングのやつがイシュバール政策のためにマイルズをよこせと言い出してな。
で、貴様も連れて行こうと思った。もちろんスカーとしてではなく、一イシュバール人として。どうだ？
Is Valence returning to the home, man?
歴史ある宗教や文化を死なせてはならん。文化の死は民族
Miles and Scar together.
お前の手で民族を死から救え。
I love it.
マスタングめ、スカが生きていると知ったらさぞかし肝を冷やすだろうよ。スカ、貴様本当の名は何という？
Is he gonna actually let us know? I think he said he had forgotten, no?
死んだ。この世にはいない人間だ。名はなくていい。好きに呼べ。
そうか。
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna go with anything differently, though. We just call him Ishvalan.
大丈夫か？
Damn, dude.
こんなに筋肉が衰えてるとは思わなかった。
Alphonse's clothing choice really reminded me of Hohenheim.
いや、いい。自分の足で歩く。
Kind of looked like Edward was standing there with Hohenheim for a second.
兄さん先に帰っててよ。
いや、一緒に家を出たんだ。一緒に帰る。
I don't think they figured out yet that he has died, right? I don't know how they're gonna feel about that.
一緒に帰ろうか。
Okay, Alphonse is slowly, I guess, regaining his, yeah, like you can still see a slight caving in. He can walk a little difficult, you know, with a little bit of difficulty, but...
ありがとう。
何が？
なんでもない。
変なやつだな。
そ そういえばリンたち
Yeah, it's just weird. It's surreal.
あれから2ヶ月経つからさすがにもうついてるだろ
Are we gonna see that?
メイ大丈夫かな。メイハル様
Little flashback
どうしたの。
to when we said goodbye.
おいちゃん家の王女
リンヤ
おいおいそんな怖い顔で睨むなって
She was ready to fight, dude.
お前もバカだなよその国のゴタゴタに付き合って
Exactly.
神社の石も手に入れられずか
They were both looking for it.
次の転移はヤオ家のものだでも心配するなお前の家はヤオ家が
Man was saying beat you to it. Okay, but we're gonna protect you.
ホムンクルスグリードですら受け入れたこの俺だぞジャン家も
Wow.
他の奴らも全部まとめて受け入れてやるさ
We're gonna make peace.
なんて顔
That's
してん
so
だよ
wholesome, man.
心配すんな真のものは名約を必ず守るだろ
You better.
まとめてなんて強欲すぎよ。
He's still got some of that in him, maybe.
あああいつのが
Yeah,
いつのかも
exactly.
なさて帰るかな
Ah, dude, this shit is fucking amazing, man.
早く封を埋葬してやりたいしな
またな
おうまたな
Wow. That was a great final scene for them.
ああ時にアルフォンス君真の王女様メイちゃん様に随分と気に入ら
Oh
れ
yeah,
て
and
いるようですが
she is fond of him.
本当いい子だよね。それより兄さんウィンリーのこといいの。
Give it another decade. Yeah, actually. And this one, give it another couple minutes. I think they've arrived. Damn, man. That was that shot we saw, I think, in the opening.
デン僕だよ。お客さんかな。
If only you knew, Winry. God, this music and everything, this is fucking insane. Like John Williams directed this. Wow. Fucking love this theme so much as well. Even though this one has like... This one really does have a tone of sadness to it nonetheless, but... Right now it kind of feels like we've made it, you know, we've come full circle. Edward looking a little bit smug as usual. Wearing the casual sweater though. He's really trying to be a regular human from here on out.
おかえり。
おう
ただいま。
Ouch! Oh my god! Yo.
苦手なんだよな
That's not how I expected the second half of the episode to open. Yeah, no, there's no fixing it that way anymore. Too bad. Wow, yeah, he really does look a little bit... Oh shit, I hate to say it, but taller.
まあいいか
兄さんまだ治らないの。
俺は挨拶回りでくたびれてんだそれをウィンリーのやつこき使いやがって
Is he actually taller though, I wonder?
大体だな
アップルパイ焼けたからお茶にしようってウィンリーが。
Maybe it's just because he's standing on the roof.
おう
How does Alphonse compare? Okay, same. Basically same
今
height.
日は一段と遠くまで見えるね。
ああ
いやはや問題が山積みで
Oh shit.
一気に老け込みました
Grumman talking to Bradley's wife.
東はマスタング君北はアームストロング君がしっかりやってくれていますので この老いぼれもなんとか大総統の椅子に座っていられます。あり
Oh.
がたいことです。
So you had the aspirations, but you figure...
にならないの？
まだまだ若い者には譲れません。
あらまあ。亡くなったブラッドレーみたいなことを言うのね。
I mean, I could never figure out whether the way he intended that was like...
いやいや、私はこの上なく
Who is actually fucking approaching, by the way? Because it looks like a kid. It's not gonna be...
真面目ですよ。
It's not gonna be... Oh, shit! The
あ
hell?
らセリム、どうしたの？
So Salim still grew from the baby?
あら
That is
大変
fascinating.
ジーヤに獣医を呼んでもらい
And he
なさい。
still has a mark on his forehead?
小鳥さん
大丈夫よ。さあ、お行きなさい。
That is not what I expected. How does that work?
優しい子に育ちましたな。
I guess he just no longer has the Philosopher's Stone though,
あの
right?
子を育てると決めた
He better not.
みんなに反対されましたけど、何の心配もなくすくすくと。
まだしばらく見守らせてもらいますよ。
Damn, look at his eyes as he's saying that. I was gonna say though, but with Grumman, I could never figure out whether what he meant of like wanting to have the leadership position came from a good or bad place, if you get what I'm saying.
私が起こさせませんわ。
Like if he was gonna fight Roy for it, basically, is like what I wondered about, or if it was gonna become a problem, maybe. But it's more like, okay, Roy's too busy now in Ishval and stuff, so he's just figuring, okay, I can do this.
新たな可能性というやつはいくつになっても
Yeah.
ワクワクするね。
Because before that, I never like assumed Grumman to be a bad guy or something, right? He was just kind of a joker. I liked him.
君、左足のことで落ち込んでない？大丈夫です。自分を戒めるためにも足はオートメールのままでいいって言ってました。そう。それにこれがないとウィンリーがない。何そののろけ。ヒューズさんをはじめ、いろんな場所でいろんな人にたくさん、本当にたくさん幸せをいただきました。だから今度は僕らがお返しする番だと
So
思うん
that's
です。
what they were thinking about just now. What do you mean by that, though?
いえ、10もらって10返すだけ
Taking
じゃ同
10,
じなの
giving
で、
10, it all ends
10
up the same. So we take 10, put something of ourselves on top of
11
it,
にして返す。
and return 11.
小さいけど僕たちがたどり着いた新しい法則です。
Okay, and now what do you mean by that concretely?
これから証明していかなきゃいけないんですけど。何かやりたいことがあるのね。
Yeah, that's why you came here, but
僕たちが助けられなかった女の子がいました。その子をずっと忘れることができません。
neither have I, man. I love that they keep referencing that because they know how much of an impact that fucking episode made on everybody.
いっぱいあるぞ。食え。それじゃいよいよだな。
真に行くよ。
Going to Xing? Dude, what are these plans?
本格的に連
Study
絡を
alchemy.
習うつもりだ。真だけじゃない。東方の国々を回っていろんなものを見たい。いろんなことを知りたい。
Hey, that's the human experience right there. That's exactly what Truth talked about.
っていうか、本当についてくるの？
Oh yeah, they'll be here.
当たり前よ。
No matter what.
いいことがあるってな。ささやくんだよ。
Ah, nah, dude. We got a scene like this already last episode, and it's reminding me of Pokemon. Anytime Ash catches a Pokemon or whatever.
俺たちは元の体に戻る方法を探す。兄貴は真に行かねえのか？
Interesting.
ニーナみたいな
We create the perfect
不幸を繰り返
world.
さずに済むかもしれない。
Keep the tragedy of Nina from ever happening.
兄さんも僕もそれだけじゃないんだよ。
I mean, you're not gonna try and reverse it, right?
見てみたいんだ。世界の広さを。
Just see how big the world
毎
is.
日油を刺すこと。
うん。
ネジの緩みもチェックすること。
Oh, man.
代わりに水分拭き取ること。ちょっと聞いてるの？
Listen, Winry, we're happy with you, but you do not need to turn into this typical,
来た来た。
typical wife.
そんなんじゃすぐまた壊
We've had enough stress for fucking 10 lifetimes.
へいへい、わかってます。
世 備が必要な時はちゃんと予約の電話入れて
Oh, he will. He always did.
予約。
何
ウィンディ。
I don't think he wants to see her on appointment basis only
はっきり
anymore.
言いなさいよ
Oh shit. I know what he's gonna say.
10日交換だ。
Equivalent exchange.
俺の人生半分やるからお前の人生半分くれ。
That's a nice way to put it. Kinda cute.
もう
She was still hoping for something else
ど
though.
うしてそうなの
Can't blame her.
10日交換の法則とかでばっかじゃないの
なんだと。
ほんとバカね半分どころか全部あげるわよでやっぱり全部はなし
Three quarters.
いや
Yeah.
8割かな7じゃないなじゃあ 8.5? あそうやそのくらいならあげてもいいわよ何よ
元気もらった。ありがとな。行ってくる。
いってらっしゃい
I mean, they call the episode a journey's end, but honestly, it's a whole new journey beginning, I feel, man.
痛みを伴わない教訓には意義がない。人は何かの犠牲なしには何も得ることはできないのだから。しかし、その痛みに耐え、乗り越えた時、人は何者にも負けない強靭な心を手に入れる。そう、鋼のような心。
A heart made full metal. One that won't ever hold you back. I love it, man. All the memories. Oh shit, look at this. Ling on the throne. That's a fancy looking throne too. Oh shit, Yoki got turned into a fucking clown. He always was. Okay, Roy Mustang with the mustache. Oh shit, look at this. Yo, that's older May right there, right? So they reunited later on, and the girl from the One Rush Valley episode, I think. Wow, awesome, man. So wholesome. Yeah, it was one of those episodes that honestly had me pretty quieter than usual, I will say. I mean, maybe it doesn't... Usually I say that, or I think that about myself, and then I watch the reaction back, and I'm like, oh, I still talked plenty nonetheless, but... That's at least the vibe that it really gave me, right? It was a super slow-paced episode. You just appreciate the scenes for what they are. You take them in. You, again, like that's really what this was. A real nice epilogue type episode to show you the characters that you know and love one last time and see where they end up and stuff. It's funny because I realized that like in the final moment here where we see them go over all the pictures and stuff, right? There's a really nice picture there with Edward, Winry, with Alphonse, and with May, who's gotten older. And it's like, I get so focused on the fact that we see May actually looking much older than we saw last time that I don't even take in the fact that we see Edward and Winry actually have kids and stuff there too, right? Which is a detail that I probably, should have called out immediately in the moment. But yeah, anyway, it was also, I will say the episode did not necessarily play out in the way that I thought it would. There's a couple of things that it like lacked actually that I thought we were going to see. Like, for example, we didn't get to see Edward and Alphonse's reaction to learning that Hohenheim actually died, right? Which is something that, I mean, I don't know. I guess it wouldn't have fitted with the tone of the episode because it would have been relatively sad, right? And so I get that they left it out and stuff, but it's something that, yeah, I don't know. I thought we were going to see it beforehand. Let me just put it like that. Again, it's probably for the better that we didn't. But I just expected it, and therefore that's something that I would call out. At the same time, we got certain scenes that were way more wholesome than I expected them to be. Like, my favorite scene this whole episode was actually the one between Ling and May. That's the one that just hit me in a way that I had not expected whatsoever. We knew that they never really saw eye to eye, and they, you know, needed the Philosopher's Stone for their own reasons, basically, and stuff, right? But yeah, now seeing that they were basically making peace with each other, or that Ling promised that to Mei, and seeing Mei break into tears, even with the fact that Ling said, like, well, I did get it before you. It is what it is, right? I mean, I just loved that whole aspect to it. Fantastic to see. Yeah, again, obviously the romance scenes between Winry and Edward were really cool because they weren't over the top. They weren't anything, you know. Yeah, again, it wasn't like a massive "I love you" moment or kissing scene or something like that, right? It was done in a way where you would again, this was in line with how we've seen their romantic relationship sort of evolve over time. You know, where Edward still couldn't really get him to say something that crazy and over the top, or you know, he's too. Hey, you know, that's a struggle with any man. I feel like to say things like that and really sort of mean it or something, right? He's just going like, oh yeah, equivalent exchange. You know, like I love how they executed on that one. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like this is an episode that kind of has me at a loss of words. You know, it's like, okay, what are that journey still going to look like in the future? You know, they're going basically expanding their horizons to learn. Alphonse and Edward, I'm talking about, right? Basically going in different directions for the time being, but at the same time, you know, they'll end up together because the picture literally told us that. So just, yeah, it kind of tells you about the human experience and connects to what, you know, what the truth literally said to Father back in the at the gateway or whatever, right? About the human experience being about learning and being about accepting basically the life that was given to you and, you know, using it to its fullest without trying to do something outlandish like Father tried doing by becoming something greater than that, right? And yeah, therefore, just, you know, something that I just appreciated overall about the episode. There's one last scene that I guess I should touch on, is the fact that Salim actually is growing nonetheless. And, you know, the Bradley's wife will get to raise him, which is nice because it gives her kind of a happy ending nonetheless, which she was easily the character I expected to get the most tragic ending out of all of them now, right? Because her whole life got turned upside down in the final moments here of the show. And that's, yeah, something that I thought she wouldn't really be able to cope with all too well, obviously. But now she does get at least something back, which is Salim. Now, Salim, I think, is still kind of considered a threat, right, by Grumman, and Grumman kind of expresses like, we need to keep our eyes on him nonetheless, right? But so far, it seems like there's not really going to be a problem there anymore, and I can only hope that that won't be. But then again, I don't think there's any sequel show for this, so I think we can interpret it as like, this is as happy of an ending as Bradley's wife could have possibly gotten as well. But yeah, guys, an amazing journey has come to an end. I want to thank you all for having tuned into all my reactions to Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. I hope you really did enjoy them as much as I enjoyed watching this show. And then for now, I want to thank you all a lot for tuning in. And I look forward to reacting to a bunch more future shows over on the channel that hopefully I'll be seeing you back for as well. For now, thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you in the future.